The crisp autumn air felt enchanting as Sarah stood at the end of the long, winding driveway that led to their new home. The Victorian house loomed before her, its once vibrant paint now chipped and faded, giving it the appearance of a weary old sentinel quietly guarding decades of memories. The tall, narrow windows looked like eyes staring into the soul of the world, while the weeping willow on the front lawn swayed gently, as if whispering secrets to the wind. Now, sit back, relax, and let the story unfold. Welcome to Storietional, where every word comes alive. Turning, Sarah glanced back at her husband, John, who was unloading boxes from the family van. Their 10-year-old daughter, Lily, danced around the yard, her laughter ringing out like chiming bells, blissfully unaware of the melancholy enveloping the old house. Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, an unsettling sensation that sent shivers down her spine. "Mom! Dad!" Lily called, her voice bright and filled with innocence. "Come look at this." With a gentle sigh, Sarah approached her daughter, hoping that whatever excitement Lily had discovered could distract her own lingering doubts. She found Lily peering at something behind the old willow's gnarled roots. "What have you found, sweetheart?" Sarah asked, bending down beside her. Lily lifted a small, dusty box, its faded exterior adorned with intricate carvings. "Look! It's a treasure. More like a forgotten memory," John said, joining them, brushing some dirt off the box. "I wouldn't be surprised if this place had a lot of secrets. Can we open it?" Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, her imagination already whirling with adventures. "Maybe after we've settled in," Sarah suggested, fighting a soft smile. The box captured Lily's attention, even more than the eerie house ever could. As the family busied themselves with the unloading, an old wind chime that hung from the porch began to sway gently, producing a sound that was almost a lullaby. It sent a chill through Sarah, and she shivered. Had the chime always been there? Or was it disturbed by the breeze that had suddenly picked up? "Mom, the house is beautiful," Lily declared, her enthusiasm unwavering. "Can we explore it after lunch?" "Sure, but let's make sure everything's ready first," John replied, casting a lingering glance towards the attic window, which seemed to be inviting them with a kind of dark allure. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of purple and orange, the family finally settled into their new life. The walls of the house creaked as if they were settling into their new occupants, and Sarah felt the deep echoes of the past seep through. "Let's have dinner and then check out the attic," John suggested as they gathered around the rickety dining table. "I don't know about you two, but I've heard attics can hide all kinds of hidden treasures." "What if they hide monsters too?" Lily joked, her smile contagious. As the story unfolded, he ventured further into a darker and more complex world. With each step, he uncovered secrets that had yet to be revealed, but something in the night was waiting. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to give it a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you want to hear more stories like this, make sure to subscribe to Storietional. There are always exciting and thrilling tales waiting for you here. Sarah chuckled softly, trying to ease the knot forming in her stomach. There are no monsters here, just memories waiting to be discovered. That night, as Sarah lay in bed, she could hear the house whispering. Not out loud, but there was a peculiar sound, like soft murmurs echoing through the walls. It was unsettling, yet oddly comforting, as if the house was ready to share its secrets, if only they were willing to listen. Invitation to subscribe. As the camera zooms in on Sarah's anxious face, the narrator interjects. If you're enjoying this eerie journey so far, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Storietional for more spine-chilling stories. Chapter 2: The Echoes of the Past. The next day brought with it an invigorating sense of exploration. The family spent their time unpacking, discovering familiar items that were masterpieces of nostalgia, but there was an air of mystery surrounding the Victorian home that tugged at Sarah's mind. After lunch, Lily tugged at her mother's sleeve, her eyes wide with excitement. Can we go to the attic now? All right, let's check it out. John agreed, with a hint of apprehension. The stairs creaked ominously under their weight as they climbed up to the attic. Each step seemed to resonate with the whispers of long-forgotten stories. The attic door stood slightly ajar, inviting them in but also warning them to be cautious. Pushing the door open, they were met with a rush of musty air and shadows that danced along the walls. Old trunks were piled haphazardly, and dust covered everything like a delicate blanket. "Wow," Lily breathed, captivated by the atmosphere. "It smells like time." Sarah smiled at her daughter's observation. "That's one way to say it." As the story unfolded, he ventured further into a darker and more complex world. With each step, he uncovered secrets that had yet to be revealed, but something in the night was waiting. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to give it a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you want to hear more stories like this, make sure to subscribe to Storietional. There are always exciting and thrilling tales waiting for you here. As they ventured further inside, their movement stirred up dust that glittered in the dim light filtering through the single, grimy window. It illuminated the remnants of the house's forgotten past, old clothes, worn-out furniture, and faded photographs that leaned against the walls like spirits wishing to be remembered. In one corner, a dusty mirror stood, its surface marred by grime but still somehow enchanting. As Lily approached it, she cupped her hands against the glass to peer in closely. "Mom, look at this!" she exclaimed. Sarah leaned closer, gazing into the mirror. Behind Lily's reflection was the faint outline of a young girl, her expression sorrowful, a fleeting image that vanished as quickly as it appeared. Sarah blinked, dismissing it as a trick of the light. "Just a reflection, sweetheart," she reassured, though a chill crept down her spine. But the attic was more than just a storage space. It was a realm suspended between time and memory, a threshold to shadows waiting to be uncovered. As the story unfolded, he ventured further into a darker and more complex world. With each step, he uncovered secrets that had yet to be revealed, but something in the night was waiting. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to give it a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you want to hear more stories like this, make sure to subscribe to Storietional. There are always exciting and thrilling tales waiting for you here. The attic felt alive with something unexplainable. Dust motes floated lazily in the air, and every creak of the wooden beams overhead seemed to whisper secrets of the past. As they sifted through the clutter, Lily grew more excited with each discovery, her eyes bright with imagination. "Look at this!" she shouted, holding up a tattered doll dressed in a faded mint-green dress. Its porcelain face was cracked, yet its glassy eyes gleamed with an uncanny brightness. "She looks like she's been waiting for me." "Very creepy." John chuckled, but Sarah felt a twinge of discomfort, a sense of dread creeping in. "Maybe she was once a little girl's best friend," Sarah replied softly, her mind racing back to the fleeting image of the young girl in the mirror. As the family continued rummaging through the attic, they stumbled upon an old trunk locked tight. With no key in sight, John grabbed a nearby crowbar and pried it open. The lid creaked ominously, and dust clouds erupted, filling the small space with a dry haze. Inside, they found old letters stacked neatly, tied with twine, alongside yellowed photographs of a girl that looked oddly similar to Lily. The girl in the photos had wild, flowing hair, a wide smile that sparkled with joy. Yet, there was an undeniable sadness in her eyes, a void that hinted at tragic tales untold. "Who is she, Mom?" Lily asked, holding up the photograph. "Is she a part of our family?" Sarah took the photo, her heart racing. I'm not sure. But I think she lived here a long time ago." "Let's read the letters," Lily suggested, her curiosity piqued. As the story unfolded, he ventured further into a darker and more complex world. With each step, he uncovered secrets that had yet to be revealed, but something in the night was waiting. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to give it a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you want to hear more stories like this, make sure to subscribe to Storietional. There are always exciting and thrilling tales waiting for you here. The letters spoke of everyday life in the Victorian home, written in flowing cursive. They shared mundane details, school adventures, dreams of a future, but there was a growing sense of loneliness in the words. The last few letters turned darker, revealing a longing, as if the writer was fading away, disappearing into shadows. Something happened to her. John mused, engrossed in the fragile pages. The last letter. It talks about a storm and losing someone dear. His voice trailed off as he passed the letter to Sarah. As she read the words detailing a blustery night where promises were broken and friendships frayed, a chill washed over Sarah. The sorrow in the letters felt tangible, haunting the very space they stood in. Maybe whoever she was got lost in the attic, Lily suggested, her voice barely above a whisper. Let's not jump to conclusions. John tried to break the tension, but the air thickened, creating a heavy, uncomfortable silence. A gust of wind howled outside, rattling the windows, as if echoing the turmoil expressed in the letters. Suddenly, they heard a low creaking noise from above them, the attic shifting as though it were settling deeper into its secrets. Did you hear that? Lily's eyes widened, darting towards the ceiling. The whispering resumed, soft yet clear, like the distant echoes of forgotten laughter and unfulfilled dreams. Probably just the house settling, John assured them, though Sarah noticed a slight tremor in his voice. But the whispers seemed to weave around them, swirling like fog, calling, beckoning. Sarah felt a jagged tension knot within her. Something was not right. Chapter 4. Whispers of the past. The evening swallowed the daylight, wrapping the house in shadows. Dinner came and went, but Sarah's mind clung to the attic's mysteries. The letters and the fleeting image in the mirror replayed in her mind like a broken record, asking questions without providing answers. Are we really going to sleep here tonight? Lily asked over dinner. Her voice held a hint of trepidation that mirrored Sarah's own unease. Of course. This is our home now, John replied, his smile reassuring but his eyes betraying a flicker of fear. Later, as they tucked Lily into her bed, Sarah hesitated by the door, staring down the dark hallway that led to the attic. The whispers seemed louder now, the air thick with anticipation and uncertainty. Mom, can you stay? Lily's voice broke through her thoughts, pulling her back to the room. Okay, just for a minute, Sarah said, sitting on the edge of Lily's bed. Soon the rhythmic sound of her breathing eased Lily into sleep, yet Sarah remained wide awake. Her senses heightened. As the house creaked, she found herself listening intently, hoping that the whispers would return. Somewhere in the depths of that attic lay answers, perhaps even the key to the sorrow enveloping the home. Just then, a sound echoed from above, a soft tapping, coaxing her curiosity. Unable to resist, Sarah quietly tiptoed out of the room, navigating the dark corridors toward the attic door. The shadows blended with the moonlight spilling from the window, creating ghostly shapes along the walls. Each step toward the attic felt like walking through a veil separating her from a hidden world. With a gentle push, she opened the attic door, and the familiar musty air rushed to greet her. The dim light flickered and danced around, cast upon the old relics of a forgotten time. The whispers enveloped her as she stood there, more insistent now. They seemed to sigh for attention, pulling her deeper into the clutter. Courage surged within her. She had to uncover the truth of the girl from the photographs. Annabelle, she called softly, her voice barely a breath. Are you here? The wind outside howled fiercely as if responding to her call. A sudden chill swept through the attic and she felt as if the air had thickened, surrounding her with weight. The whispers morphed into words. Help me! As the story unfolded, he ventured further into a darker and more complex world. With each step, he uncovered secrets that had yet to be revealed. But something in the night was waiting. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to give it a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you want to hear more stories like this, make sure to subscribe to Storietional. There are always exciting and thrilling tales waiting for you here. Sarah stood frozen in place, the whispers wrapping around her like a shroud. They seemed to pulse with energy, igniting an instinct she had never known before. "Help me!" the voice repeated, and just as she thought she might faint, a soft glow emitted from the dusty mirror. Approaching it cautiously, Sarah's heart raced. She wiped the grime off the glass, revealing an image, another reflection. It was of the same girl from the photographs, with wild hair and that same ethereal sadness in her eyes. "Annabelle?" Sarah asked breathlessly. The image nodded slowly, the sorrow etched deep into her features, resonating with an ancient, forgotten emotion. "I'm lost," she whispered, her voice crackling like static. "I used to be safe here, until she came." "Who came? What happened to you?" Sarah desperately questioned, emotions swirling within her. "The attic, it's a doorway," Annabelle gasped, seeming to struggle against an unseen force. "I can't leave. If you want to help me, you must understand what happened." Sarah's heart ached with empathy. The girl was trapped in a web of sorrow. "I will help you. I promise," she vowed, glancing back at the door to ensure Lily was still asleep. "You must find the truth before the storm returns," Annabelle warned, her voice growing fainter. "The wind carries whispers of the past." The image flickered, something dark clawing its way into the mirror, and Sarah instinctively stepped back. "No!" she shouted, reaching out to the glass, but it shimmered, leaving only a reflection of herself staring back at her. Breathless and terrified, Sarah staggered back. The whispers around her intensified, a swirling crescendo of sounds, laughter, cries, and echoes of a painful history intertwined. "I can help you!" she cried, desperation filling her voice once more. "I won't leave you!" But the room had grown cold, and the haunting whispers had shifted to something more sinister, becoming interwoven with an underlying tone of anger. As the story unfolded, he ventured further into a darker and more complex world. With each step, he uncovered secrets that had yet to be revealed. But something in the night was waiting. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to give it a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you want to hear more stories like this, make sure to subscribe to Storietional. There are always exciting and thrilling tales waiting for you here. Heart pounding, Sarah stumbled from the attic, the sense of urgency propelling her down the hallway. Each step was laden with dread, and she felt the oppressive weight of sorrow tangling around her. She couldn't fail Annabelle, she had made a promise. But what truth awaited her? And who was the catalyst that had condemned the spirit to linger in the shadows? Sarah returned to Lily's room, checking on her daughter, who was sleeping peacefully, oblivious to the darkness that seemed to have seeped into their lives. She felt an overwhelming need to protect her. She couldn't let Lily suffer the same fate. "Mom?" Lily stirred, her sleepy voice pulling Sarah away from her anxious thoughts. "Sure, sweetheart, go back to sleep," Sarah whispered, sitting on the bed, brushing the hair from her daughter's forehead. "I'm here." Leaning against the wall, Sarah found comfort in the warmth radiating from Lily's small figure. The whispers had faded, leaving her heartbeat pounding in her ears like a drum. But the impending storm rattled the windows, and the ominous shadows outside seemed to stretch longer, fueled by her unease. "There's something in this house," Sarah murmured quietly to herself, her mind racing with questions. "I have to find out more about Annabelle." Determined, she resolved to dig deeper into the secrets the attic held, but first, she needed to gather her thoughts and ensure her family remained safe. A wave of protectiveness surged through her, pushing her to act before the storm drew near. As dawn broke, a pale light crept through the curtains, casting a gentle glow in Lily's room. Sarah had stirred several times in the night, her mind racing with thoughts of the attic and Annabelle. Now, she struggled to concentrate on the day ahead. Lily was already awake, her small face beaming with energy. "Mom! Can we go back to the attic today?" she asked eagerly. Sarah hesitated. She didn't want to scare her daughter, but there was an urgency growing within her. "How about we explore some more of the house first? There might be other interesting things to find." "Like what?" Lily's brow furrowed, disappointment evident in her voice. Maybe we can discover more about the people who lived here. Or we could look for that treasure you talked about, Sarah suggested, trying to mask her concerns behind a smile. Okay. Lily grinned, her enthusiasm rekindled, and together they joined John in the kitchen, where he was preparing breakfast. After a hurried meal, the family began to explore the rest of the house. A series of small rooms led to a narrow staircase that spiraled down to a basement. Sarah felt a sense of foreboding as they descended, the air growing colder and the light dimmer with every step. Keep close, she instructed, holding Lily's hand tightly. The basement was a maze of cobwebs and boxes stacked high, remnants of lives and memories long past. As they moved through the clutter, Sarah noticed fragments of furniture, old tools, and even a child's bicycle, all covered in dust. A chill tingled at the base of her spine, and she couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't alone. Suddenly, something caught Lily's attention. Look! She shouted, pulling Sarah toward a corner filled with old newspapers. The newspapers were tattered, but some headlines were still legible. Local girl missing, storm claims 2 lives, haunting echoes, the house on Maple Street. Sarah's heart raced as she scanned the articles. They painted a tragic picture of a vibrant girl who had vanished during a terrible storm, leaving behind a distraught family. Each story revealed snippets of a community haunted by the disappearance, and the legends that had arisen around it. Mom, what happened to her? Lily asked, her voice barely a whisper. I think she might be the girl in the attic, Sarah managed, her throat dry. Her name was Annabelle. John stepped closer, exchanging worried glances with Sarah. This is getting serious. We need to be careful, he muttered, eyeing the basement's dark corners. The discovery weighed heavily on Sarah's mind. She could no longer deny the connection between the house, the letters, and the whispers echoing in her ears. Whoever she was, Annabelle had been trapped in this house, and the storm returning would only stir the shadows further. Let's head back upstairs, John suggested, a hint of urgency in his voice. As they exited the basement, Sarah could not shake the feeling that they were being watched. The presence enveloping the house was palpable, an energy thrumming with desperation. The afternoon darkened ominously as storm clouds rolled in. They settled in the living room while the wind howled outside, rattling the old windows. Sarah found herself glancing nervously at the attic door while Lily flipped through the old photograph album they'd uncovered. The image of Annabelle floated through her mind, aching with a need for resolution. Can we go upstairs? Lily asked, breaking Sarah from her thoughts. I want to show you this cute picture I found. With a heavy heart, Sarah nodded. She needed to confront the attic, but she also needed to prepare Lily for whatever they might find. As they ascended the creaking stairs, the atmosphere grew thick with tension. The air crackled with electricity, and the whispers returned, swirling around them, urgent, pleading. Annabelle, I'm coming! Sarah breathed, feeling the weight of the past press against her. The attic door opened with a loud creak, and they stepped inside. This time, Sarah felt a strong presence, a yearning sensation reverberating within the space. On instinct, she approached the dusty mirror. Annabelle? If you're here, we want to help you, she called out. Again, the air thickened, and Sarah felt a gust of cold wind whirl through the attic, hurling dust into the air. The mirror flickered, momentarily reflecting Annabelle's sorrowful visage. You have to find her, before the storm takes everything, she whispered, her voice filled with desperation. Find who? Sarah pressed, but the image began to flicker, growing dim. The whispers escalated, growing louder, and Lily clutched Sarah's hand tightly. Mom, I don't like this, she cried. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the attic as a piece of furniture toppled over, sending dust flying. John rushed in, wide-eyed. What's happening? We need to leave. No, wait, Sarah shouted, her heart pounding. I can't leave her. But as the storm raged outside, the atmosphere shifted with each clap of thunder. Fear clawed at her, and she felt the urgency of the situation. "It's too late." Annabelle's voice resonated around them, the mirror dimming. "You must." The storm grew wilder, shaking the very foundations of the house. It wasn't just a storm outside, it was a tempest of emotions, a release of despair intertwined with the spirits trapped within. "No! Don't go!" Sarah screamed, her voice drowned by the howling winds. But the mirror shattered, scattering shards across the wooden floor, taking Annabelle's presence with it. "Mom!" Lily cried in horror, and John pulled them both close, trying to shield them from the encroaching chaos. "Get out! We have to go!" John yelled, leading them toward the attic door, fear etched on his face. As they stumbled back down the stairs, Sarah's heart sank. They could not leave Annabelle behind, she had to know more, to set the girl free. With the storm surging outside, they reached the living room, where winds howled like anguished spirits. Rain pelted against the windows like frantic fingers trying to claw their way inside. "Stay close," John urged, holding Lily protectively, but Sarah felt her legs urge her back toward the attic. "No!" she shouted, her voice strong against the raging elements. "There's something we need to do." "Sarah, we can't go back up there," John pleaded, but Sarah felt drawn to that space. The whispers still lingered in her mind, urging her to confront the truth. "I have to, John. I have to finish what I started," she insisted, determination fueling her resolve. She ran back up the stairs, the air growing colder with each step. The whispers beckoned her, lingering just out of reach. She slammed the attic door behind her and surveyed the chaos. The room was in disarray, with broken furniture and shards of the shattered mirror reflecting the tumultuous storm outside. "Annabelle!" she called, her voice echoing in the empty room. "I promise I'll help you. Just give me a sign." For a moment, silence enveloped her. Then, the attic window rattled, and the cold wind surged through the opening, swirling the dust into a whirlwind. Sarah felt a surge of energy, a connection to something greater than herself. The remaining pieces of the mirror caught the light, reflecting visions of Annabelle's life, a life marked by joy, laughter, and ultimately sorrow. Brief glimpses unveiled joyful moments as she played with friends and her family, but as the visions turned darker, Sarah saw the storm swirling ominously outside, foreshadowing the impending tragedy. Suddenly, the whispers crystallized into a clear voice. "Find the locket, bring it back, it's the key." "Where?" Sarah cried, feeling desperate. "Beneath the willow," Annabelle's voice urged, and then the vision faded, leaving Sarah breathless and yearning for the next step. As the storm continued to rage, the narrator's voice interjected. "What dark secret lurks beneath the willow? If you're on the edge of your seat, like this video and subscribe to Storietional for more heart-pounding mysteries." Heart racing, Sarah rushed back down to find John and Lily waiting anxiously. "We have to go outside. We need to find something under the willow tree," she explained, her urgency contagious. "Are you out of your mind?" John replied, incredulous. "It's pouring out there. We can't go. Trust me, John. I know what I saw," Sarah insisted, scanning her husband's face for understanding. "Mom, I'm scared," Lily whimpered, clinging to John's leg. "I know, sweetheart," Sarah said gently, kneeling beside her. "But we can help Annabelle. I need you both with me." After a moment of hesitation, John sighed, realizing there was no way to hold her back. "Fine. But we stick together, and we move fast," he warned, wrapping his arm protectively around Lily. With each step toward the door, the storm raged outside, thundering like a warning bell. They stepped into the wild wind and rain, the cold drenching them instantly. The weeping willow stood tall against the tempest, its branches swaying violently. With determination, they made their way through the gusts toward it, dodging whipping branches and puddles that threatened to swallow their feet. "Mom, I don't see anything," Lily shouted over the deafening rain. "We need to dig! It has to be here!" Sarah cried, her heart pounding with urgency. They kneeled down beneath the sprawling branches, a brief refuge from the storm. Sarah plunged her hands into the mud, her fingers searching frantically. As the rain poured, she felt something solid beneath the surface, a small locket, half buried and glimmering faintly. "I've got it!" she exclaimed, pulling it free. The locket felt warm in her hands, almost alive, as if it resonated with a forgotten energy. "Quick! We have to get back inside!" John urged, his voice laced with panic. As they dashed back toward the house, the wind screeched with a fury unseen, uprooting branches and rattling the world around them. Back in the living room, they slammed the door shut against the chaos. Water dripped from their bodies, and adrenaline coursed through their veins as Sarah held the locket tightly in her hand. "Annabelle, let this be the key," she whispered, glancing around the room that had become a sanctuary and prison for so many souls. The locket sparkled in the dim light, eliciting a sense of hope even as the storm roared outside. With a trembling hand, she opened the locket. It sprang apart to reveal a small photograph of a girl who looked just like Annabelle, joyful and full of life. But there was more, a small note tucked away inside. With anticipation fluttering in her chest, Sarah unfolded the fragile note, carefully reading the faded ink. "To my dearest Annabelle, always remember that love binds us together. No storm can sever the connections of the heart. You are my light. Never lose hope, my darling." "Mom, what does it say?" Lily asked, wide-eyed, moving closer to peek at the locket. "It's a letter from her mother," Sarah replied, feeling a tingle of emotion. "She believed that love could overcome anything, even storms." As if in response, the storm outside howled louder than before, and the shadows in the room thickened, swirling ominously. Sarah felt the weight of Annabelle's sorrow pressing in on her. They needed to bring closure, to free her spirit. "Annabelle! I have the locket!" she called out, holding it high. "We want to help you. You don't have to be trapped here anymore." The atmosphere shifted, and the whispers grew softer, more comforting than before. "Return the locket to where it belongs," Annabelle's voice echoed softly in her mind. "The willow was my refuge. It holds the memories of our love." "Let's do this," John said, a newfound determination in his voice. "We'll bring it back to the willow." As the storm continued to rage, the family's determination surged, and they prepared to face the tempest once more, knowing they were racing against time to free Annabelle's spirit. As Sarah, John, and Lily brace for a final confrontation with the storm, the narrator's voice chimes in again. Will they succeed in freeing Annabelle and uncovering the truth? If you're eager to find out, like this video and subscribe to Storietional to follow this thrilling journey. The rain poured down relentlessly as they moved toward the weeping willow once again, a relentless force against them. Each step felt monumental as the wind clawed at their clothes, but determination pushed them forward. "Stay close!" John shouted over the roar of the storm. Lily clutched Sarah's hand, her grip tight, fear mingling with anticipation. "Will it really work, Mom?" she asked, her voice quivering. "Annabelle needs this. We can't turn back now," Sarah replied, her heart resolute. As they reached the base of the willow, the rain soaked through their clothes, sticking to them like a second skin. The tree seemed to writhe with a life of its own, branches dancing wildly in the howling wind. "Here!" Sarah cried, kneeling in the mud where the roots sprawled out. "This is where it belongs!" With the locket cradled in her hands, she buried it gently at the base of the tree, feeling the energy pulse, the connection between past and present, love and loss. "Annabelle, we're doing this for you!" she shouted against the storm. Suddenly, the winds began to shift, swirling around them, forming a vortex of energy, light piercing through the dark clouds. The storm weakened as if responding to her plea, the chaos calming into a soft rain. Then came the whispers, clearer and stronger than before. "Thank you?" In that moment, a figure began to materialize before Sarah, a shimmering silhouette of a girl standing beneath the willow. It was Annabel, radiant with joy and peace. "Thank you for believing in me," she whispered, her voice light as air. "The storm has passed, and my spirit is free." Tears of relief streamed down Sarah's cheeks as she reached out. "You're not alone anymore," she promised. With a gentle smile, Annabel faded into a warm glow, a luminescent presence that enveloped the willow. The air grew still, and the storm receded, leaving behind a quiet tranquility. "Mom, is she gone?" Lily asked, her voice a mixture of awe and sadness. "Yes, sweetie," Sarah replied, wiping her tears. "She's at peace now." The clouds dispersed, revealing a brilliant rainbow arcing across the sky, a promise of hope and new beginnings. United, the family stood beneath the willow, feeling the warmth from the sunshine that broke through. They'd faced the darkness, uncovered the truth, and forged a connection that transcended time. In the days that followed, the haunted aura of the Victorian house lifted. The family found comfort in their new home, and Sarah felt Annabel's presence in subtle ways: a gentle breeze, a fleeting shadow, the comforting rustle of leaves. They decided to honor Annabel's memory, creating a small garden beside the willow, planting flowers that symbolized hope and love, the very essence of their journey together. As they tended to the blooms, laughter filled the air, bridging the past and present. They felt a profound connection, not only to Annabel but to each other, weaving a tapestry of love that would outlast any storm. And as the seasons changed, the whispers faded, allowing new stories to be born under the watchful branches of the willow, a sanctuary that would flourish forevermore. As the family gathered in laughter, the narrator concluded, "In the heart of every home lie stories waiting to be told." If you enjoyed this journey of love and loss, like this video and subscribe to Storietional for more captivating tales of the unexpected.